Rise and shine. Open up your eyes to awaken your mind. Need to make the day count, need to get in the zone. Tune in, the two bald guys and a microphone. Introducing Coach Papa Tim Stewart's his name. Pay attention to his wisdom, it'll raise your game. He wants to see a better world, so he plays his part. Always loving, always giving, cause he's got a big heart. The co-host won't boast, but he can stand on his own. From the state of Iowa, it's that man Kent Jones. He's impressive on the mic and he don't need a cord. And whether hosting or he's hooping, he's controlling the boards. And the one feeding a hungry herd of Americans. Make you feel right at home like he's your best friend. Though he's not a city slicker, he's as cool as the fun. Just a witty wisdom giver, Mr. Rancher Run. Set the tone for your day and get in the zone. Tune in to
Two Bald Guys and a Microphone.
Not only the author, the artist, in the show with us today, Damon K. Ross.
The man formerly known as Damon. Oh, wait, no, he's still known as Damon K. Ross.
What's going on?
Maybe seen his picture at a post office somewhere.
Yeah,
Wanted.
Something. Listen, before we get too deep into this, of course, we also have to give a big shout out to our good friends over here at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. Of course, they are proud supporters of Two Bald Guys and a Microphone. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com. Give them a call at 815-385-8190. They do it all. Massage therapy, reflexology, acupuncture. If you're stressed, help them. Let them help you be blessed.
Oh, from stress to blessed.
Right there.
How about that? Touch.
And another quick shout out. If you tuned in to the grounds on Friday morning, we had the USASA on with us. That's the United States of America Snowboarding and Free Ski Association. And we had Olympic gold medalist Nick Baumgartner on with us as well. But they've got a big deal coming up on the 16th. It's a huge fundraiser for them, as the United States of America is the only country in the world that does not support financially their athletes who are going to be representing them in the Olympics. All other nations do.
The government doesn't. The people of the United States.
Yeah, right. We're the only country that doesn't. Yeah, financially is what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And the USASA he helps them get there, funds them, and does a lot of things. They're having a golf outing. It's the third annual USASA Golf Classic right here in the wonderful town of McHenry. There's still foursomes open, and even better yet, the silent auction is up and running now, and they've got some cool auction items.
What does it cost for a foursome to get into the USASA?
It's $150 a golfer, so $300, and for a golf outing of that nature, with the possibility of golfing with an Olympian and perhaps even an Olympic gold medalist, $150. It goes to a good cause. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's very cool.
And you should be able to write that off.
And you heard it right here on 216.net.
That's right. Today, very special day. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Happy anniversary to you.
I think I've got everything running. This was 6 years ago today. This very date, 9/5/2016, was the first ever airing of Two Bald Guys and a Microphone. And the first 10 minutes, see, first show, welcome in. And the first 10 minutes, we weren't on the air.
That's right. That's right.
We hit the button and we started going, and we were rocking and rolling and tearing it up. Everything we imagined radio DJs should be doing. And then I noticed, and he's like doing this number, looking at the keyboard. And then he hits another button. And then he's like, I'll tell you later. He mouths over to me.
Nice.
And about that time, the manager of the station, Jay
Schultz,
walks into the production room, which is right next to the main broadcasting room.
Yeah.
And he's looking at everything like he's confused about something. And I stepped up and walked over, and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I got a dead air message." But it looks like everything's fine. I go, no, we're all good.
Yeah, don't know what happened. All right.
Best
Tony,
10
good morning.
minutes of radio you never heard.
That's it. Tony, good morning. So we thought we would bring Damon in. Thanks. You didn't have to work today because it's nice that they chose a national holiday to celebrate Two Bald Guys and a
That's
Microphone
right.
6-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's what they put on our calendar at school, too.
What about no, this is a big celebration. The nation will make it a national holiday. There we go. So September 5th, that's when we lifted off with no O-rings or heat panels, anything like that. We were just like, let's go. And we did.
Kind of a little bit of the history of where the Two Bald Guys came from. A friend of ours, Frank Hostica, been on the show a lot of times. Frank actually introduced you and me as well.
A guy named Frank.
He said, you got to meet this guy, Kent. And we tried, but we just couldn't coordinate our calendars. And then there was a mixer on Flag Day, June 14th, 2016, over at Black Diamond Plumbing. And I called them up. I said, it's Flag Day today. And they're like, oh, no, we forgot all about that. And he said, I got you covered. So I did it. I recited my ragged old flag, and Kent happened to be there. Well, let's get out for coffee. And we're like, okay. So we went out for coffee, and we're sitting there, and I go, I'll do radio. That's fun. Let's have a radio show. What should we call it? Coffee with Coaches. The Coaches Clutch.
There was a bunch.
There's a plate glass window right beside us, and Kent looked in and he goes, how about two bald guys and a microphone? And that was
the rest is history. Of course, you were.
I was. I was. Today I'm undercover.
Well, the pandemic allowed you to grow your hair back, and that makes your beautiful bride happy. So that's the bottom line.
It does, and cutting it would not make her happy again.
Yeah.
She never liked it from that.
Is that right? Alice would slap me if I grew hair back because it would be. It would not look good.
Would it cover the whole head?
No, that's why it wouldn't look good. I'd look like that Fuzzy Wuzzy Willie or whatever.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair.
Yeah, no, it would not look good. But I've been bald since '99, so that's when I took it down. Yeah. Yep. And ever since, I couldn't do it.
You took it down because nature started the process, or
yes,
you just
yes. So the story is my family and I. We got Spencer at that point is so he's 5 and Ashley's 3, and we're returning some merchandise to Walmart because who doesn't? And this is when they had a little TV. They had cameras pointed on their customer return area, and I'm standing there in line, not even paying attention. I would look up at the TV. I'm like, oh, geez, look at that poor bastard. He should shave his head. And Ashley ran up and hugged my leg, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm that poor bastard. So I went home and shave my head. Cause I said once it goes here, I go, I'm not going to fight it. Just
let it
go with it. So I took it off. I had a beard, everything, and I shaved my head and then shaved down to a goatee at that point. And when I walked out of the bathroom, Spencer freaked out, like, where's my dad?
There's a stranger in the house.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, he was right.
Yeah. Stranger than most.
Stranger danger.
And so that poor bastard ever since has been bald. So.
Nice.
But you know what? Hey, bald guys don't age, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice thing. That's a nice thing. So, Coach, what is some of your best moments with Two Bald Guys that you can recall?
There's two that top my chart. One of them we had on a dear friend, Pam Gish.
Oh yeah,
and Pam was
yes.
Pam is a nutrition, weight management kind of person, and she is passionate about what she does.
She's great. Yeah.
Well, we're sitting there, and we found Facebook Live. If you look at the history of Facebook Live, it's just about 6 years ago it started.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's simulcast this. with my camera, and we had all kinds of contraptions putting this camera up in the corner with the microphone. This is the original speaker, is still with us today.
Yep.
And we're sitting there, and I always had the phone, kind of, monitoring, making sure, everything's coming across. All of a sudden I notice the picture's getting funny. And then I look at the camera, and the camera is doing this slow motion fall. One of the legs of the tripod had given out. And Pam was in the middle of talking about what she does, and she saw she was talking right to the camera, and she just kind of went.
I kept talking, didn't skip a beat.
And it was just, we're losing. I'm trying to get up to save the camera, but I'm laughing so hard.
That was so great.
And then the other time we had headphones on where you could constantly monitor what was happening. So you had the little feedback loop, and you had to get used to hearing yourself a few seconds behind what you were saying. And you get used to that. But Kent was doing a live read for Northern Illinois Windows. And then I just whispered loud enough for it to come across to his earphone, but not to come across the air. So he's doing, and thank you for the financial support. And I'm in his ear going, thank you for the financial support. And he's holding it together as long as he can, but then about halfway through the live read, he just lost it. And when he lost it, I lost it.
I couldn't even breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Ron is in Texas, so he has no clue what's going on.
He's just on the phone in Texas.
And Rich Roston was doing a press release for us, and he's over there kind of typing out the two ball guys, he's typing away. So he doesn't even see, but we're laughing so hard. We're like, Ron, you got to take it. We have our
Ron doesn't know it. Ron couldn't hear it. He doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is that I just went silent, radio silent.
So we're both holding the cough button, so that they can't hear us dying. But literally for 4 to 5 minutes, couldn't hilarious. Stop laughing.
Right. It was like that slumber party, goofy. You're just so tired, but it was hilarious. It was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant.
I say brilliant. Casual Pits, one of my favorite shows. When Casual showed up with two of his cronies, I don't know what you go, just these two guys,
supporters, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
And they show up, and Casual became the acronym monster. The guy was just unbelievable with his acronyms. And where he's come at in 6 years, it's just been, he got his launch right there on
That's
two
right.
bald guys and a microphone.
Right? Yeah, I think so.
What's some of your favorites?
The fun part of doing what I do is when you and Ron, and you'll remember this, every other thing was a pun.
Yep.
So they would get on a run in a show or between shows or whatever, still today, I'm like, man, I wish I was that quick with puns. I mean, it was like, everything was a pun, and they were right on. It was beautiful, and
he was the master.
No question.
It was just to listen to you guys. It was so funny. And then we go out for breakfast. You guys would keep doing it if Ron was in town or whatever. It was absolutely crazy.
I felt Ron with me a few weeks ago. This guy Bryant.
Did you just talk to your therapist?
This guy Brian's in the car, and he gets in. We're coming back from a retreat. We had just met it that weekend. Don't really know each other. Find out he's from McHenry. Sure, I'll give you a ride back to McHenry. And he goes, Tim, I have to apologize to you. And I'm like, what for? He goes, well, I've had 6 brain surgeries, and I have short-term memory loss. I go, I know. You just told me. He looks at me and says, you'll get used to me sooner or later. But
it was wrong,
just
but
cruel.
Funny. That funny.
Well, the good news is he's one of the first guys that I started working with this combat brain training on.
Yeah.
And in less than 3 weeks of working with the training, he's recovered 30% of its short-term memory that medical therapy hasn't been able to do for 5 years. So that was the tipping point that got me back, or got me super involved in this, and eventually landed a speaking gig in Toronto and other things. So, but it all started with that moment, and I said thanks, Ron.
My next favorite was when we left WHIW out there, and we were like, we're gonna do a radio station. We're gonna build our own. This is and here we are now 4 years after that, because that was 2018,
March of 2018,
about 4.5 years after that, and we had nowhere to go. Well, no, April's not going to let us come in at 6 a.m, go upstairs.
One show from upstairs, and she was like, "No more."
Yeah, no more. And so we reach out to our good buddy Luke, the sticker guy, and he's like, "I got a place for you." And we're like, "Sweet, a studio." and he takes us upstairs of his shop, and lo and behold, there's a walk-in closet. Literally,
it's as big as this table.
It was 8 by 8, maybe. And we put desks, tables, 3-4 grown men in there.
We were cozy.
It's like we're broadcasting. I go back and watch some of those YouTubes because they're still out there, and I'm like, what were we thinking? This was, you could tell we were cramped up in there.
If you were in the back seat, you literally had to squeeze in.
Yeah.
And Lord help you if you had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the show. And we were doing 3-hour shows.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was good. But I just look back, and we were all so uncomfortable. And we were just we weren't even plugged in directly. We were on his Wi-Fi. So if his Wi-Fi went out, which happened, we had nothing, which is, it was fun. But I look back at that and go, man, you want to talk about
come a long ways, right?
Come a long way.
Well,
come a long way.
Even when we first came in here, it took us a while to figure out a layout, and it's a continual work in progress. You just
we just totally remodeled
Texas,
the place.
So end of June, first part of July, and this is the best iteration.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
I think it's set up. We have a setup over there where we could turn around and do the Jimmy Fallon on the couch type of show. We could, put the Uncle Pete show on in the corner. It's got 3 or 4 different ways you can set this up. So it is really a cool setup now. You can see the different cameras we have set up.
Yeah. So it feels good. It's a great experience. And of course, if you're looking to sponsor or be part of it, send your emails or reach out to us. How about you, man? You've been you created the theme song. We absolutely love you for that. We've had you on. Your coaching career, professional coaching career, has taken off, which is cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's off the ground, right?
It's off the ground.
So, how about you? What are some of the moments?
One of them was the first time I came in the studio. It was I had the day off of work, and coach was like, "Hey, why don't you come in and just hang out? We haven't got a chance to hang." And he's like, "You can just sit there. We won't expect anything from you." I'm like, "Great, no problem."
Oh, jeez.
So I get in the studio. Coach's like, "Yep, there's your seat. There's your headphones. If you need to cough, push this button." I'm like, "Whoa, time out. What's going on here?"
He did.
So I remember that, and then I always remember with Gary Knauer.
Oh yeah, Gary Knauer.
And I called in that day, and we were. It was I want to say it was Memorial Day, so we were talking about just country, all kinds of stuff, and somehow we got to talking about people being offended.
Yes.
And Gary says, "Well, you have to choose to be offended." And I was like, "Well, no, people can say things to you and this and that." And he's like, "No," he said, "Okay, if I walked up to you and spit in your face, what would you be?" I said, "Well, I'd definitely be offended." He said, "No, you wouldn't. You'd be wet. You choose to be offended." And that just stuck with me. And it just changed my whole perspective on, how we allow people to affect us. And so that one was definitely one.
I remember that.
That
show.
I remember. Yeah.
Gary and his 85-inch biceps.
Yes.
I'm sitting next to him, and it's not like I'm a little guy, and I'm like, "Can I see your forearm?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrist, maybe?
We went out to lunch a few times after
great
that.
Guy.
So yeah,
great
he's
guy.
super, super great guy.
Yeah. Love you, Gary, and thanks for listening. I know things are going well for you and the family, so congratulations. That's the joy. The best part of what we do is that everybody gets nervous. Like, hey, man, we're worldwide, and we've got so many hundreds of thousands of listeners, and now the station is up over 5.3 million listeners and growing and shrinking and growing. It's a juggle, and you tell people that, and they come in and they're nervous. Then now, especially with the studio the way it is, everybody gets, oh my gosh, and you could see they're nervous. She's like, no, don't worry. What are we going to talk about for an hour?
How are we going to keep talking for an hour? Oh, there's about 5 minutes left.
Right. Whoa, that went fast. That was great. We run under the guise of no canned questions. We don't know how any show is going. We have a topic, we have a direction, and if we have a guest, we're going to highlight what the guest does. We'll do a little background on that topic, whatnot. And everybody's so nervous. And for their first few moments, you hear the shake in their voice and their anxiety a little bit. But then they're like, oh, this is just like sitting here having coffee with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
and we don't ever know. Nobody knows which direction it's going to go, if it's going to be funny, if it's not going to be funny, if it's going to be deep thinking, if it's not going to be deep thinking. And that's the beauty of it. And we're just saying, no, come on. Here's what we'll do. We've got so many 100,000 listeners, so we want to make sure that, hey, Damon, if people want to know what you do, how do they get in contact with you?
Right.
That was an actual question,
Yeah.
Damon. They want to know what.
Hit me here on Facebook. Damon K. Ross. You can go on Instagram, at Damon K. Ross, Twitter, at Damon K. Ross. Nice. Everywhere, Damon K. Ross.
Damon K. Ross. Absolutely. And so the fun part of what we do is that it's just like, hey, let's just get together, have coffee, let's edutain people, let's have a little bit of fun. And it's like Bill Cosby and the Fat Albert Show. If you remember, he's like, hey, we'll have a little bit of fun and hopefully we'll learn something before it's done. Right?
Yep.
No.
Hey. Always so many Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. that came on. Saturday mornings on the East Coast there, because I grew up in Michigan. 11 a.m. It's like, poof, let's go, Fat Albert's on. Yeah, Saturday
Good
mornings.
times.
Yeah, it was the only time you could watch cartoons. Saturday mornings.
Yep. Well, no, not really.
Well,
School?
What?
After school?
No.
No, not where I came from.
Oh yeah, Speed Racer.
There would
no.
never have been a show or a song that started out Saturday morning confusion. If I could just get a transfusion.
Yeah, I wasn't. Speed Racer was too violent. My mom would not let us watch Speed Racer.
Oh, you were deprived.
Chim and Spritle. I ended up watching it later. And I was like, what was I missing?
Dude, yeah,
and I'm like, Mom, how did you think this was violent?
We had a routine. We get off the bus. We have our 15 cents left over from lunch. Go to the corner penny candy store.
Yeah.
Get our 15 cents worth of candy.
Get
Sprint
some Tootsie
home.
Rolls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sprint home, watch Speed Racer, and they come outside. Man, did you see?
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Good times, man.
That was a great car. And it's now out in Volo. There's a Mach 5, a real life Mach 5 out in Volo. Well, when I got off school, it was Leave It to Beaver reruns. So we ended up running home watching Leave It to Beaver. Like, hey, and I don't know. I think Tony Dow died recently, or maybe he didn't, but he was ill.
When I got home, it was feed the pigs, milk the cows, collect the eggs,
and that was just his dates. That was it. Hey, look at this guy, Gary from Singapore, one of our longtime listeners out there, a guy who's followed us all the way from WHIW. We absolutely love Gary.
Day one.
Day one. Appreciate you jumping in. Hopefully you had a great Monday and happy Monday evening. They're only 13 hours ahead of us, so.
And as always, is there any movement in the stock market today, Gary? Is there anything we should know about?
How was how did Singapore celebrate Labor Day? Because we're Americans, the world revolves around us. So it's important.
Did you threw the StreamYard link out there?
No, I didn't share that out there. No, yeah,
Right.
That's a different show. You can tune in into the grounds on and jump on. So that's it. That's good.
Gary's jumped on several times, and he's a great guest. We love.
Awesome.
We love Gary.
He always sends. I learned so much, and I'm forever grateful because he'll send me links and things. The State of the Union address over there. He has sent me some, and I'm getting through it still because it's wonderful. He sent me a series on Singlish. So it's Singaporean.
Singapore English.
Yeah, and English.
That like Spanglish.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. Our Labor Day is on 1 May, as with most countries.
What's that?
Well, are you saying us American? Never mind. We won't get into that. A whole different show. And of course, that's the other beautiful thing about we don't. So many people want to always talk to us about politics or news or something like that. We're like, no.
Just to give an idea of how serious we are about this, there was a guy wanted to come on, put a show, and bring thousands of dollars to the studio, but he wanted to know what our stance was on the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
And that was contingent on, because he wanted to take a strong stand and get his views on the Second Amendment out here. And we're like, well, we don't do politics. You can have a show. We'll take your money, but we don't do politics. So notice there's not a show on the Second Amendment.
That's right.
Although we do have a gun show. We do have a great gun show.
Gary says it's more commonly known as May Day. Well, that's what we say when we're in trouble. Mayday. That's right. That is absolutely great. So anything exciting happen over the weekend for you guys?
Grandson's football team is 3-0. He on the season is 14 for 15 on extra points with one field goal. And he's a little frustrated. He can kick the ball into the end zone, but his coach won't let him. His coach has him squib kicking it all the time. They ran one back on Friday night for a touchdown, and he was like, that never would have happened if I could have just kicked it into the end zone. But the coach wants the other players to make plays, so he wants them to do that.
How's that working for you?
Yeah. Well, the
other player made a play.
That's right.
They won the game 42-7, so it wasn't like but it is, to me, and I can't disagree with James. He pulled a little groin muscle, so he's been over. Granddaughter's getting married, Kaylin, the singer.
How about that?
She's engaged, so that she found her wedding dress on
she a baby. She only 19.
19.
She a baby.
19.
So,
wow.
See, that's what I said. I go, she a baby. But I got married at 22, so that was a kid.
I was 20 for 11 days.
Yeah.
So
it's nuts. Yeah, she a baby. So anything exciting for you over the weekend?
It's the little things. So I sold my son's bed and old mattress that's been sitting in my
cleaning out, baby.
Dining room area for 3 weeks because the guy that was supposed to buy it 3 weeks ago bailed. So it felt good to have a real person, not someone trying to scam. I don't know if you guys have tried to sell things on
always marketplace.
People's always So it was good to finally get that out of the way. So,
nice. Get some room.
Those little things. Good. Yep.
That is good.
How about you, Mr. Jones?
Glad you asked.
Thank you.
This is always a good week for me because Thursday I head up to the 20th year of Man Camp. There'll be about 10 to 14 people up there this year. So the big 6 years here, 20 years there. This is just where no women, no children, just me and my buddies are up there and smoking cigars and drinking. I don't drink anymore, so no drinking. So just be some smoking
seltzer
cigars.
Water.
Yeah, I do. I love seltzer water now. Yeah, it's great. And then yesterday I'm I'm sitting there. Now my Sunday routine is I get up always every day about 5 or 6, somewhere between there. It's just what it is. And so on Sundays I get up and I watch Barnwood Builders. It's about these guys who tear down old barns and do it like the pioneers, and you learn a lot of history and stuff.
Barn raising? Yeah,
it's awesome. And so, Mark Bowe follows us. So Mark, thanks for tuning in. Mark Bowe, a great show. So that's my Sunday morning. So I'm sitting there and Alice's mom, and happy birthday to my mother-in-law today. Absolutely love you, and I'm blessed to have you in our life. And so she and Lucy ran over to Prairie du Chien, and so they're gone all weekend. So it's just me and the dogs. Colette's working. My 20-year-old, she's working. She works at an extended care facility, so she works 12-hour days. And So she's working this weekend, and so it's just me and the dog. So I'm like, I'll just watch a couple shows, So I'm sitting there watching a couple shows, and I get this text like, "Hey, sir, do you have a few minutes?" I'm like, "Sure." And so my oldest daughter's boyfriend of 7 years calls, and he says, "Hey, today's the day I'm going to ask her to marry me. Are you okay with that?" And I laugh because I'm like, Jesus, what took you so long? 7 years. Thanks for finally, And so he and I had a great conversation, and he did ask her, and she said yes. So that's cool. That's
nice.
That's that next phase.
Yeah, it's cool. And they are great together, and he makes her very happy, and that's what any dad wants. Just make my girl happy. And she's a clinical psychologist. He is in med school to be a surgeon. These two kids got the world by the tail. They just came back from a 2-week vacation in Greece.
Nice.
And I was like, I thought the ring was going to happen out there, right? But no. So congratulations to Ashley and Jacob. That's very
Congrats.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about that. I'll show you the ring afterwards. But I told her, I said, you're left-handed, so you get pissed. You got to roll that thing into your fist so you don't lose a diamond if you go to hit somebody. Absolutely. So that was a very cool way. And then Alice calls me at 10:30 last night after the reject rundown. She's like, "You didn't." So she's mad at me because I didn't tell her. I go, "What do you mean? You're with your folks? I mean, what are you talking about?" She's like, "He called you in the morning. You knew this all day." I go, "Yeah, but that was not my news to give you.
That's not your news to
right?"
give.
I said, "You chose to go away." I said, "It was easy not telling you because I just didn't have to pick up the phone." So I had to sit with it all day. I'm like, man, I keep watching for a text or a call. Nothing. Then they went out to dinner, and that's when he did it. So yeah, it was cool. So great weekend for me. The other thing is, I'm creating a workspace for me. We got a 3-car garage at the new house, and the third stall is now my wood shop. So I worked in there getting that ready all weekend too.
So we'll have our own version of Tim the Tool Man.
I love, and I'll show you pictures, but I love to upcycle things. So like literally I'm that guy, and my wife is that lady who stop the car. That's by the curb. It's free. Throw it in. And then we fix it up or create something, put it out on Marketplace. It's just a fun little hobby that we both have. Right now, we're into, if you take a look at this wall, we're into upcycling old fencing and barnwood and stuff like that. So that's where this came from. And we just love doing that kind of stuff. So absolutely. That is the joy of what we do. Of course, we're just after the bottom of the hour. Coach, why don't you give a shout out to our sponsor?
Our sponsor, Natural Therapy and Wellness, is actually my masseuse, John Peterson. At least 3 to 4 times a year, I get in on that table, and he is an incredible. He was an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
And decided that he wanted a career change about 20, 25 years ago, and went in and became a massage therapist. He has now created Natural Therapy and Wellness Center. You can reach out to them at 815-385-8190. If you've got any stress building up in those shoulders, for me, I had a piriformis one time, which is a very tough muscle to massage, and he's the only guy that could work that out. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks until I got together with John. He's got a second location in Crystal Lake now, so McKenna, Crystal Lake area. Go see John Peterson at Natural Therapy and Wellness.
That's it. And just another quick shout out to USASA, their golf outing coming up on September the 16th. Oh, wait, where am I at? Oh, there, over there. Look, I don't even know which camera. There we go. There you go. Check it out. Give them a call. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be a ton of Olympians there. Nick Baumgartner, 4-time Olympian and Beijing Olympic gold medalist. Kelly Clark, 5-time Olympian, 3-time Olympic medalist. Louis Vito, this guy, he is a stitch. He's all of about 5'6", 5'7", 2-time Olympian and 8-time X Games medalist in Dancing with the Stars. Maybe you'll remember him there. Garrett Garros, a U.S. Paralympic team and Beijing Olympic silver medalist. And he lost a leg, and so now he snowboards with a prosthetic. It's amazing. Lucas Foster is a U.S. Olympian. Courtney Rummel, U.S. Olympian. Justin Ryder, U.S. Olympian, Olympic coach. You want to know? Yeah, I said if you go out to usasa.org, usasa.org, and click their silent auction. Listen to this. They've got some Columbia fleece, sportswear, a Yeti Rambler, and morning coffee basket. Like, this is the Rambler right here. They gave me one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're really, really cool. Portable patio set, Sun Mountain carry bag. Let's see. I mean, good stuff. Tailor-made Den caddy basket. Tailor-made high toe raw Bigfoot wedge. Here's the cool thing. The M7 Moto Caddy.
Nice.
That is the remote control bag carrier. So you walk and it follows you.
I saw a guy with one of those. We're out golfing, and this guy's walking, and his cart's following him like a little dog.
Yep.
And I'm like, how's he doing that?
There are a ton of great foursomes out there in local area, but listen to this. A golf escape for 4 to Costa Rica. Everything is included except air. You take care of the air. The rest is taken care of. You're at like an all-inclusive resort, and you play golf. Huh. Amazing. Tennessee Golf and Whiskey for 4. Head to Cattails at Meadowview for a game of amazing golf and culinary experience for your guests. There's a golf clinic and a round of golf with a cart. By the 9th green, you'll have a tent for you and your guests to get some shade, relax, and enjoy cool beverages. And whiskey tasting. So they've got a lot of cool things. Trust me, you don't have to go golfing to be part of this. You just you can log in, create an account, and you can bid on it between now and the 14th. So
very cool. There's a local snowboarding legend by the name of Tommy Cooley. Tommy lives right up in Richmond, Illinois. Tommy competed many years before all the guys who are hitting it big. I think even before it became an Olympic sport. But I ran into Tommy the other day. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah,
so he still looks like a snowboarder. I mean, he's
totally stoked, dude.
And he's about 5'6".
Totally stoked. Crazy.
So good stuff. You know, as we come into September, and I know we're launching today, our topic is going to be laughter is the best medicine.
That's right.
So if you want to laugh a lot, hopefully join us next week while Kent's up at Man Camp.
I'll be man camping.
JT Newton, a local stand-up Canadian and very good friend of the friend of the studio.
It's brilliant.
JT will be in. Damon, you're welcome here whenever you want to come. You know, don't even have to tell us you're coming. Just show up.
We can send you a link too, and you can do it right from home.
We can do the link.
Well, you're busy. I mean, you're still teaching. And
that would happen,
right?
Yeah. Still gotta be.
Monday mornings are a little hectic for you, unless it's National Bald Day.
Yep. 2 bald guys and a microphone day.
It's an anniversary, right?
Only
6 years.
Only now I'm the microphone.
Yeah, right. Well, it's 2 bald guys. Well, thanks to my new co-host. We can fill in here too. Get 3 bald guys. We'll be all right. We'll be fine.
That's it. So tune in next week. Kent will be gone, so it will be a good show.
Yes, it's going to be a blast. It'll be one of the best shows all September.
Second only to this one.
That's right. The fun thing about what we do too is we've had if you would have told us who we would have met and how our life would be 6 years ago because of this crazy show, mm-hmm. we would have laughed at you like, shut up, right? I mean, we have had some amazing guests on our show. We've had people that you're like, man, why would I have ever met you? But your story's so cool, and then you've created friendships and things like that. Guest wise, who has impressed you the most, Coach? Or are you like, wow, we got this person on?
I was going to the Caribbean with Frank and Christina to officiate Rachel, Frank's daughter's wedding, and that week we had on Chuck Inman, and Chuck wrote a book called Chemical Brain Freeze.
Yeah.
Well, Ron and Deke are really good at pre-reading the books, and I kind of like just filter in there. But I'm on a cruise ship, right? So I'm on a cruise ship with a headset. I'm walking around doing a pop-in like the live anchor man out on the cruise, and this was probably one of the best guests I never got to meet in person.
Yeah.
And I didn't pre-read the book, but trust me, after that show, I read the book, and I've been teaching the chemical brain freeze process ever since. And, Chuck is such a, eventually Chuck and Ron had their own show, Memories or...
Yeah, there's Adventures of
Unstructured Time. Adventures in Unstructured Time.
Yeah. Jokes about COVID. Yeah, where's that cough button?
So Chuck, ranks right up there. Jerry Paulson and that crew on the Veterans Day. That was one of just an incredible Veterans Day show. Noah St. John.
Yeah, Noah's great.
Been out a couple of times.
Great author. Absolutely. How about you, Damon? Anybody besides yourself? I mean, that's always the best.
Yeah, I mean, I would put myself number one.
I enjoy talking with myself.
No, I remember Rita Owen. Like,
oh
yeah. We just
clicked.
Had a real we clicked well. And then I'll give a shout out to one of my buddies, DeMarcus Grady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
chef.
I brought him on. He's a chef. Yeah, he does
Great
personal
stuff.
personal cooking and small events and the like. So it was good for me to contribute to the show by bringing a guest.
Now, now he's had a baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Got married, have a baby, and he had a place downtown Chicago, a little kitchen that he was working. Are you still working out of that one?
That I'm not sure.
But great. That guy can cook. I mean, that chef can cook.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch him, just because he's just talking like you're at his house on a Sunday afternoon, and then next thing you know is he slides some stuff in front of you. It's the best stuff you ever tasted. You're like, whoa!
And Coach mentioned Casual Pitts. I always enjoyed. I always enjoyed hearing him on the show, and it was real cool. You guys when you guys had Desmond Clark too.
Seriously,
one of my favorite shows.
And the friendship that we've created with Des over the years, we still keep in touch. But he came in, and I'm like, I used to watch you on Sundays, bro. Right. I mean, I was just here like, this is number 88. And what a story that guy had, right?
That was crazy. The first time I'd heard his story in person, and I was in tears sitting there. Like, everybody's worried about. How the world has treated them, how the world has given them well, this kid, when he was 12 years old, has to go out and do drug deals to support his dad.
Hold his dad's crack pipe and and light it because his dad's blind, can't see it. What? And and I'm mad at my dad for grounding me for coming home 10 minutes late. You're like, what? Doesn't make sense at all. Desmond absolutely and I still follow him on social media and everything, and he's doing great stuff. Casual Pitts, who knew? I mean, Entrepreneur of the Year. I mean, he's been on Forbes, the cover of Forbes magazine. Who knew?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he did, right?
He knew,
right,
and he just had an air of confidence, not arrogant, but just a confidence in what he was doing,
and he does his mission, and he's taken over.
Helps a lot of people.
He was Entrepreneur of the Year. What was that? 2 years ago?
This year, Forbes magazine.
So 2022.
Yeah, 2022. He's on the cover of Forbes.
Yeah, Entrepreneur of the Year, and he got. Hey, you're welcome. He started right here at Two Bald Guys and Microphone. I will say this though. For a guy who's doing so well, we need to get him into the barbershop and trim up that beard a little bit. We got to shape it up. And we got to shape that up. I mean, it gets a little bushy on him, but he does post things. If you follow him personally, he posts things like after workouts and stuff.
Yeah.
But when he throws the suit on or whatnot, he looks good. But I'm like, we gotta get that shaped up a little bit. Let's casual. If you're listening, you can come in. Lisa, good morning. Glad to have you with us. I hope you're having a great. What is today? Labor Day. Yeah. I don't even know what it is.
It's
Two Ball Guys on the Microphone anniversary.
6-year anniversary. Yeah, National Two Ball Guys Day, which is fantastic. We had the other guy, and I forget his name. He was like a big wig in Guam or something.
Jerry Paulson.
Yeah. So you get people like that on your show. You're like, man, that's cool. That's cool. But it's opened up a lot of doors to do a lot of things that I probably would never have had the opportunity to do, and meet people that I never would. And the crazy thing is still today, I'll go places to whatever, school events for my kids or mixers or whatever. And I'll start talking with people and they'll be like, they kind of look at me cross-eyed and like, and I'm like, close your eyes. And they're like, what? I go, and then I talk, I say, hey, two bald. Oh, you're one of the bald guys. Yes. I knew that voice someplace. I'm like, oh yeah. Well, it's just weird to come up and say, hi, if you could just close your eyes while we're shaking hands, you'll know exactly who I am.
So I'm down at Grunt Style doing a speaking engagement. Sean Grimes was in human resources there. Sean's been on the show a few times.
Yeah.
And I'm walking through and I had a Two Ball Guys t-shirt on. I was seeing one of the guy goes, are you one of the ball guys? I go, yeah. I go, hey, everybody. They listen to our show on the whole plant, at least at that time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, they still do. We're huge. We're huge stars. Huge. Hey, John, good morning. Good morning. Happy, blessed Labor Day. Keep up the good work. Thanks, John.
Talk about a guy who's been on an amazing journey.
Yeah.
His new job is just going amazing. This guy from where he's come a few years ago to where he's at today. So good job, John. Thanks for checking in.
Absolutely. And Labor Day, it's now it's actually the Two Ball Guys anniversary day, national holiday.
National.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why we got off work today.
That's why we got off work. That's why we're here.
If you're off work today, you should be listening and thanking us.
That's right. For 6 years ago, this date, 9/5/2016.
We made Mondays relevant again.
We did. Look at that. We did. Now people look forward to Mondays instead of Fridays.
That's right.
Not really.
No, nobody
said nobody ever. Yeah.
Right. We got to talk about how Two Ball Guys led to 216, the net.
Yeah.
So
tell
us about that.
Yeah. So when we were out at 101.3 at WHIW, our online, our social media started to blow up and we started to go worldwide. And as we gained traction, what does she say? Look for the banners all over McHenry County. Yeah, that's right. That's right. When we started to gain traction, they said, man, you guys are our most listened to show out there in Harvard. Could you do 2 hours? And we're like, I mean, 6. We'll go 6 to 8. It still gives me time to get to work, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll go 6 to 8. So we rolled into 2 hours, and it blew up. And then our viewership and follows and likes and everything just kept growing and growing and growing. And then we were like, hey, we're getting kind of big for this little radio station. And the FCC does kind of handcuff you because you can say certain things, and they're a nonprofit station, so you have to do things at the right times, the right places. So we're like, let's start. I knew a guy who had owned an internet radio station, so I talked with him a little bit, and we said, yeah, let's do it. We're going to start an internet radio station. Okay, what do we need? Well, we need a microphone. Or
microphone's good.
Yeah.
Several.
I mean,
and a computer.
And a mixing board.
Well, we didn't even think so at first, the mixing board, but then Ron is like, let's get a soundboard. Let's just make sure we sound good.
So we actually bought the soundboard.
Yeah.
sent it up to us. I'm setting it up, and I'm fairly technical. And, you know, I'm getting it going, and I do a test, and there's no sound. And I do a test, and there's no sound. And we're coming up to the...
Here it is. Here it is. The soundboard that started everything.
And 11 hours we worked on this. I worked on it all night the night before our first show because we had put everything into this. Our other system was no more.
Yeah, so it's Sunday night.
So we're like 10 minutes before the show, and I'm like, I wonder what this button does.
And then he spilled coffee on it. He spilled his whole cup of coffee on it.
Which stopped 3 of the legs from working, at least temporarily. We put in a bin of rice.
Hey, but that soundboard there, that got a lot of mileage out of it for many, many years. And we finally retired it in 2021.
And we'd actually take that soundboard on the road and go out and set up and do live on location broadcasts.
Yeah. So we're doing this, and we said, okay, let's create. And none of the 3 of us knew anything about radio or what to do or how to work it. All we knew is that we're going to do this. Well, then Tom Sellers comes to us, and Tom Sellers is, God rest his soul, was a survivor of cancer at that time, and he wanted to do a show called Not Done Yet. So he, well, let's back up. We brought Nick Espinoza with us, and he's still on to this day here, 21.6 The Net, on Tuesdays at 5. And we said, Nick, and he goes, yeah, just give me your login and password. And we're like, well, do we really have to? Because you're a white hat hacker, you'll get in anyway, right? So we did. And he uploads his content every week. So every Tuesday at 5, you can catch Nick Espinoza, and it's great. So he's our longest running show. But Tom and Robbie Robinson came to us, said, hey, we'd love to do a show called Not Done Yet about cancer, beating cancer, survivors, all this good stuff, and how you fight. And so we did. So then we had 3 shows. We had 3 shows. And then we reached out to Slang and Hope, and we said, listen, hey, if you don't want to drive all the way to Harvard, because they were coming from Pingree Grove down there, south of Huntington, so the Hampshire area. So we're like, hey, if you don't want to drive all the way to Harvard, we could help you set up a studio in your house. You guys could go live from your house.
And
Slang
I
and Hope
went down there to their house and helped them set it up.
And so Slang and Hope was all about recovery, addiction recovery, and that ran for a while. So now we had 4 shows, rock and roll. And we thought we were somebody. Well, we had no idea what we were doing or how it worked or whatever. So we tried to run it like a radio station, and we had no clue.
And since we had so much great content, instead of 2 hours,
we moved
let's do 3
daily.
Yes. That was a grind.
Here's the original topic. Ron down in Texas said, that's great. I'll be on Monday and Thursday.
Yeah. Not going to go 3 hours.
You guys go ahead and do what you want. I'll see you. I'll have a second day. And so I'm looking at some of our.
So we're going, and we're going, and understand, people, we don't, this may surprise you. We don't have writers. Nor do we have a staff in our ear Googling things during the show or anything like that. So literally,
wait a minute, live happening now, and
we would prep and get ready for this 3-hour show. We did it for 2 months. We did a 3-hour show every day for 2 months, and we just looked at each other like, I am so exhausted.
We'd be on Friday morning.
We can't do this.
You got the lead today. No way, man. You got the lead.
And so we're on live. Anybody got anything you want to type in? We can talk about.
Right. Crickets. So we do this, and so now we've got 3 shows. We're growing. more people are starting to come to us. The guys, the sports show on the bump comes up, and now it's grown to about where we have about 15 shows. I want to say we've got now 2 studios. Well, we'll back up. So in the first year, 2018, we put it together. We run until December, and that's when you said, "I'm going back on the road,
right?
Training, coaching, going live. Love being on the station, guys. But I got to follow my passion, and that's what we're all about. Go get it." And so that's when Two Bald Guys kind of stopped.
Well, and in March of 2018, when we went. We also launched at that time Two Bald Inc. We incorporated the incorporation. When I left, Kent and Ron really put together and renamed the corporation as DDOE, Daily Dose of Encouragement. So we incorporated at that time, and it became a real entity. I left. I went live. I traveled 60,000 miles that year. Traveling around speaking, doing some crazy stuff, and 2020 is coming up. And Kent and I were still doing things ourselves, and we wanted to kick off this thing called Hindsight is 2020. And it's going to be this great year. 2020 is going to be an amazing year. And then this little pandemic thing came along. And everybody's world was turned upside down.
Well, but that was the best. So at the end of 2018, you go live, so you bow out, and we're like, okay. So Two Bald Guys came to a stop there at the end of 2018, and we took some time off. And Ron and I continue to grow this thing. We get a few more shows coming in. We moved to this facility, which is great, right at the end, in November of 2018. And then here at the William Tunyon and Sons Tower, we're blessed, and we've been here since 2018, so we absolutely love these guys. They've let us do some remodeling, things like that, and so that's cool. So we roll into 2019. It's Ron and I running DDOE. And he's got some new shows. We've got shows coming up. It's great. Still have no idea what we're doing. And then on Father's Day of 2019, Ron calls me, and I think he's going to say, "Hey, happy Father's Day." And that's when Ron is like, "Hey, Deke, I'm in the hospital right now." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, I've got stage 4 liver cancer." I'm sorry, what? And that was a kick. That was a kick in the gut. And so he said, "Listen, as much as I want to still be a part of this, I can't. I've got to focus all my energy on my family and fighting this and da-da-da-da." And so he sold his shares to me. So I now am 100% owner of this. So I go, "Hey, here's a great idea. I'm going to quit working, and I'm going to do this for a living because I'm an entrepreneur." And then very shortly after that, I go, "Holy crap, this is harder than it seems." And Ron did a lot of this, which I wasn't good at. So that's when we brought Uncle Pete in. And Uncle Pete comes in. He had been doing some voiceover work and some commercials for us. He was renting a space here in the studio, and he always wanted to be a part of it. And so once Ron left, I was like, "Here's a number." He said, "Fine." He bought in, and we went to work. And then it was working great. And the Uncle Pete in the morning, and thank God for the pandemic, because people wanted something different. They were tired of all the garbage out there and the fighting and arguing. And so our numbers went from about 450,000 listeners up over 5 million in the year of 2020. So It was the pandemic was a true blessing for us, right? And then absolutely. Oh, thank you.
Well, and then I'm down in Texas over Thanksgiving, and we're down there for 15 days, and get a call from Kent. And I had just been with Pete on the Friday before that at a Never Eat Alone with the McHenry Chamber, and him and I are talking and laughing, having a good time. He goes, "Hey, say a prayer for Pete. He's got COVID." I'm like, "Oh man, tough stuff." So everybody I've known up to this point who got COVID, it was miserable, but they made it through it.
Yeah.
And we were out at one of our favorite places in Texas, Babe's.
Babe's Chicken. So good.
Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. and I get a text from Kent that Uncle Pete passed away from the COVID, and I'm like, let me take this in. And I knew at that point I needed to reengage. I called Kent and I'm like, you want me to buy back his portion of the radio? He goes, no, I don't want a partner right now.
They call me the Black Widow.
My track record isn't real good.
That's right. If you partner with me, guess what? Take out a life insurance. That's right. Take out a life insurance. Just one. That's right.
Well, and that's why I'm here for whatever you need. Let me know. So I came in, relearned the process so I could help out, producing a show here or there when he needed to be somewhere else. And then just 2 months ago?
Yep. 2 months ago,
2 other partners bought in, and I'm also back in. So there's now the 4 owners of the station. Kent's the majority owner.
Yeah.
And then we've got
hello.
We've got my morning meds time at 7:00.
That's good.
It is possible we could go over a little bit this morning, so just hang out with us.
Oh man, why not? Why not? We go a little longer. I got to run a clock at 10 for a football game. So
no Ziegler meeting today. Labor Day.
Yeah, we can roll over. It's National Two Ball Guys and a Microphone Day. And I own the station, and you're an owner, so
that's right.
That's just the way it is, folks. Yeah, so that's what happened, and now, of course, Mike Krejci and Derek Bear are now owners as well. They bring a lot of creativity, marketing, business knowledge, and they are also They also have a great show called Dream Home Experts. They have created a studio down in Addison, Slipstream Studios, that is right now also Quiet Cool Studios. So they're just doing great things. That studio down there is amazing. It's where this studio is set up more for radio. That's set up more for the visual. So they've got some different mixing and sounding and faders, and I don't know. It's a whole deal. But if people want a different experience where it's more visual, that studio is the place to go because it's amazing. And Vic Mala down there has done a great job putting that together and managing and producing. It's just awesome.
Well, and we brought Bill Hasse in a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Bill has done great things too.
Yeah. He's Innovative Strategies on Wednesday mornings here. Yeah.
But he's made some introductions to us to Roku TV, and there's some things in the future for the 216 Net as well as Two Ball Guys and a Microphone that are really exciting.
We hope.
Sweet dude.
Yeah, we hope. So
even if it's just us on Monday morning, that's still exciting.
It's still exciting.
Hey, why don't we do
the
3
anchor?
hours?
Yeah. So Lisa says, love Uncle Pete, miss him, and Gary does too. So missing Ron, Pete, Tom, and Boston Mike from all these years. So it's that was a tough stretch, year and a half where we lost all 3 of those guys. Which was tough.
I'd spoken to Tom not long before he passed away.
Yeah.
Well, I was Tom's personal coach as well. That was our connection, and personal and business coach. And about a month into our coaching relationship, we're sitting there one day, and I'm like, Tom, what else do you want to get out of this relationship? He goes, well, Tim, I need to quit smoking. All right, let's do it. So I brought in some Noah St. John, I brought in some other stuff, and we started talking, and he's, within a few weeks, he's down to like 2 cigarettes a day, and he's so proud of himself. Then he calls me up with that little bit of a rasp, and he had that deep, Tim, he says, I figured out how to quit smoking. And I'm like, how's that? He goes, get throat cancer. It works. It's his sense of humor. And I'm like, Tom, are you kidding me? Well, he went into remission after about a year and a half to set up a studio in his house. And he did a really, really good job with his home studio. And his shows were touching. They're moving, very
Frank
moving.
did some good stuff too.
And then he started off the end, and I wound up officiating his funeral. The family came in and asked me to do that, which, as a licensed officiant, it's one of the things I can do. But definitely funerals are not right at the highlight.
Much rather than a wedding, I'm sure.
It was an honor to be able to, write that.
Well,
People are dying to have me officiate their
Dearly
funeral.
beloved, we're gathered. Hey, you're getting married.
Well, my opening for my wedding ceremonies, dearly beloved, we're here to celebrate the memory of Damon and then the memory of Kathy. And while it's odd to celebrate their memories when they're very much alive, it's very true. For today, they walk in as two individuals and they depart as one. So anyway, but it's,
And her
it's
name
just,
is.
Listen to a guy the other day, and he says, no man ever really wanted to get married. No man in history ever said, let me give up my ability to make decisions on anything all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's what Jake asked me. He goes, any advice? I go, well, if she's anything like her mother, when she's done yelling at you, don't say a word. This is 30 years of practice. I said, don't, you're going to want to. Don't.
yeah.
Stifle it. You got some leg up here. Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's right.
And then when he calls you up that night and says, I did it.
Yeah. So and that's where we're at. So that's what DDOE does. And now, now we want our goal is to take over and be the go-to station for Northern Illinois. So we don't want people to turn into to any other radio station other than this. So our real press here for the next year is to take over as the premier radio station in the area. That's a big battle, but because a lot of people, I mean, we were way ahead back in 2018. When we started the company, internet radio, nobody really knew what it was, or a podcast or anything like that. So we were way ahead of the curve. And now we've kind of got it figured out a little bit. And we're excited to see what's happening. We're signing new shows all the time. We've got coming up this week, of course, Tuesday, tomorrow, we've got Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. That's our all-star wrestling show. Wednesday, we've got
thus the wrestling.
that's the real deal right there. And of course, Wednesday, we've got Innovative Strategies, questions you never thought you could ask in church. And then the Slate Real Talk with Scott Dean. He's back from Bulgaria. He had a good trip. And then nothing on Thursday, as Derek's going to be out in the woods with me at Man Camp. And then Friday, the grounds will not go on unless you and you want to get with Phil. If you and Phil want to do something on Friday, otherwise at 11 we've got Mary Shep's Living Low Sodium. We've got Kevin, the Neighborhood Pulse, and In the Know with Steph and Joe, and then Dream Home Experts, and then one of my favorite shows, truthfully.
It's two bald guys and a microphone.
That's right. Is Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves, and she has blown up. I mean, she is now an influencer on a lot of social media channels.
There's a group in Sweden that they
do a house party.
They do a house party for every one of her shows.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's amazing how good she is and what she does. But you have to have a little ADHD to watch her show, because she meanders. I mean, she'll but I'll tell you what, follow her on social media, follow, subscribe, because her predictions are probably about 80-85% correct. I mean, she's good, and it's crazy. But it's always a fun one. Lisa, of course, had a show for a couple of years, about 2.5 years. Lisa's Changing Perceptions. Absolutely love that show. She and I are in conversations loosely to see how we can get her back on the air here, because we absolutely love and adore her and what she does and how she helps people. And that may be another home invasion where we set up a studio in her new place. She has moved, so it's how do we get that to work? So
yeah, it's really not. I mean, you've set up a home studio.
Yep.
You've done some things. It's not overly expensive, and you don't have to have the perfect microphone, the perfect you don't. It's just got to be decent.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good. Yeah. The key is high speed internet.
Yeah.
As long as your internet is high speed and you're not glitching a little bit,
Right.
I was broadcasting it. I like to always, when I go out, still be on the show, and we were up in Wisconsin Dells, and we got great internet. Well, in our condo, the internet was not. It was good the night before, but that morning it was like 7, and I'm like, guys,
awesome.
this isn't working. Let me go see if I can find a coffee shop. So I went and found a coffee shop, a Panera in the Dells, and I said, I'm going to be broadcasting live. Can you put me in a corner, kind of away from people? And they're like, sure. They had a section that was closed, so they let me go back in that section. So I'm in Panera, and I got a little audience standing on the other side of they had one of those little chain things to get people out of this area. And there's people standing over there watching me broadcast. They can't hear the other end of the show. They're just
but they
hear
you, right?
It was fun. We've had a lot of great experiences.
If we're just going to be chatting, I'm going to get another cup of coffee. That's right. We'll end when I have to go pee. Absolutely. So what's going down your road nowadays? Besides,
I've just spent a lot of time just working on myself, digging in things. Because I would go through certain patterns, and I would get to a certain point and just hit a certain wall and stop. And it's like, what is that? Like, why does that keep happening? So I've been doing a lot of digging, just, trying to open up the blockages that have been in my way. So
that's what
I've been focused on. The brain thing. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. But I just discovered a whole lot of stuff and things that I didn't realize were bothering me.
Yeah.
Or things that, it's like, oh, that's why, I keep running into these same stumbling blocks, because I didn't know what was going on. So it's been a really interesting journey.
One of a guy that I truly appreciate and learned.
Well, thank you, Kent.
To go, wow, what a great guy was Kobe Bryant. No, in his early days, of course, you wouldn't have left your wallet on the table. Kobe had some personal issues that he worked through, and I've watched a lot of his stuff, and you'll see I've got his 10 rules of success in every office that I have at my house. I've given it to my girls. I'll give those to the players that I coach. And the number one is get better every day. Right.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be honest with yourself. Right.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And say, I always thought it was corny. Like, hey, look yourself in the mirror and go, did I give it my best today? And did I get better today? And don't break eye contact with yourself. And if you really do that, you start talking to yourself like, man, I didn't get better today. What do I have to do? So this year I'm at 60 almost 70 books I've read this year already. And a lot, when I say read,
which is 69 more than he read in school.
That's right. And when I say read, they're audiobooks, because my schedule between the studio, work, coaching, family, I don't know where I have 15 minutes to sit down and read. However, there's 15 minutes a lot that I'm in the car. Right. So instead of listening to the news or something like that, or 216 the net, is I'll listen to audiobooks. And people are like, oh, you're not really catching stuff. I'm like, yeah, you really are. I said, that stuff goes into your subconscious brain faster, it does. I think. Right.
It does.
So I've been doing the same thing, and it's funny that you say that, because we're about the same age, and I've been doing that too. Like, man, why do I get here and do this? And there's been some things in the past couple of weeks where I go, no, take a deep breath. You're creating this. It's not right, and don't run.
Yep.
So it's interesting that you are too. So, what is the one thing that you've found that's helped you to get through that?
Well, first, Gary, yes, I am still working at the same school from 6 years ago. It's very interesting. I'll just say that. The one thing that I think that's stood out the most that I've learned is being okay with your feelings. Because it was always one of those things, if something happens, like, deny the fact that hurt me, that pissed me off, that angers me. And, we try to get rid of that emotion as quickly as possible. But what I'm learning is to sit and embrace it and analyze and look at it like, okay, I'm experiencing this. This is happening. This is real. And why? And then asking the question, okay, why am I feeling this? Instead of, okay, let me tuck this down and put it over here in this corner and not understand what's going on.
Because I choose to be offended.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that, that's been, one of the biggest things, and just being honest, being honest with myself.
Tough, right?
It is. It is a difficult thing because it's easy to say, oh, well, that didn't happen because,
Right.
there was this or it's not a big deal. I really don't care about that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You do.
And it's okay to. It's
Right.
okay to care about it. And it's okay that if it doesn't work out to say it didn't work out. I really did want that. I'm disappointed. I feel the disappointment.
Yeah.
And okay, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And
see, my flight or fight, right? What is always, how dare you question me? Right. And whether you were above me, below me, or whatever, that meant we were going to fight. And I was going to become a jerk. And I'm going to prove to you how much I know and who I am.
Yeah.
And I could feel the anxiety and everything start pushing up. And now it's just, you take a look over here and, number 7 is practice mindfulness. That means you're right here, right now. That's been a big thing for me is, wait a minute, this story that you're telling in your brain is 2 days away.
Oh,
stop it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Come back here and what's happening right now. And so a lot of time there's been a lot of times in this past year where I've wanted to dig my heels in and go, all right, let's go.
Yep.
Bring it on. This is who I am. And then all of a sudden I'm like, the other night, working at all hours with what I do, and like at 11 o'clock, I read an email from somebody, and it got me fired up. It's 11 o'clock at night, and it got me fired up, and then it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still fired up, can't sleep. I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? You should be sleeping. What's all this anger and these stories you're running through your head going to do at 1 in the morning? Nothing. You lose the sleep. You're going to be tired tomorrow.
Stop. Breathe.
You can't.
Go to your happy place.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, you saying that brings to mind Will Smith, and not talking about the slap,
right.
but when he was talking about jumping out of the plane, and he and his buddies, decided, hey, let's go jump out of the plane tomorrow. And then he says all night he's tossing and turning. He's breakfast is miserable. On the way there, he's like, man, I hope these guys bail. And you're thinking about all these worst case scenario, and he's like, the only real place where that fear should exist is when you're standing on the edge about to jump out. But he's like, I'm in my bed at home, safe as can be. Why am I afraid? Like, what am I afraid of? I'm eating breakfast in the morning.
Right.
No danger at all.
No
eating
danger.
breakfast. Like, so
food poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So that's that. Practicing mindfulness has been the biggest thing for me this year, and what I've learned, and through all the reading and everything that I've done. And it's helping me go, all right, just be present right now. Don't start creating stories out there and getting fired up about things. Breathe, listen, what's going on, what's happening right now. And it's changed the way that I approach a lot of things. Going to my happy place. My happy place is the gym. The squeak of the shoes, the smell of sweat. And guess what I am in the gym? I'm competitive as shit.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
So going to my happy place just keeps me riled up. Like, hell, well, it's time to go. I don't care if you're a 7th grade girl. I'll show you how to box out. Right. So a lot of times that happy place is adrenaline build.
Right.
So for that chemical brain freeze that you're talking about is, and asking a different question because you stop. Okay, what can you do right now? And then you hear the squeak of the shoes. Like, oh, all right, hey, we got to get there. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. So it does work for several people. Chuck Inman is a brilliant book, but it doesn't necessarily work for everybody.
We need to find a different happy place for you. Like man camp.
I was going to say
that's where it doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in.
John was on here earlier, and his happy place was, a certain experience he had when he was young, but then that was taken away from him. And,
so it brings up
you
bad.
can't have a happy place that brings up a bad memory. That's connected to a bad memory.
Yeah.
One of my clients out on the East Coast, she's like, "Oh, I don't have a happy memory." Yeah, you do. After 3 weeks of coaching and counseling her, she didn't have a happy memory. Her life was absolute crap. But then she graduated from college, and we got a happy place.
Yeah.
But it is. I see your point on that. It's. But you need to find a different happy place.
No, that's
for the process to work.
Hey, it don't matter, man. That's my happy place. Because you know why? Because much like you, maybe even you coaches, that ball became my best friend as a kid. So if I ever had problems, I'd go out my driveway, shoot free throws, try to figure things out.
Well,
right?
We've talked about this on our time. How many state championships did you win in your driveway?
Oh yeah. 3, 2, oh, he got fouled. He goes to the line.
He's at the line.
Mr. Free Throw.
Lane violation. Oh, he jumped. He leaned in there.
What? Did you see that?
That's it.
Watching my grandson right now is fun. He's so competitive, and he is really good. On Friday, he tweaked a groin playing soccer, but he had to go from soccer to kick for the football team. And the football team is doing very well. They scored 42 points on Friday night, so that meant 6 extra points and 6 kickoffs. Well, he was 6 for 6 on the extra points. He kicked one into the end zone, and he's got 2 more soccer games because it's a tournament weekend to play on Saturday. As he gets to the last game of the tournament, you can see that groin is really starting to get to him a little bit. And coaches has him playing striker, but then he moved back to midfield. Well, at striker, you're only making a run when the ball comes up front to you, so he's not working quite as much. Coach needed him in midfield, moved him back to midfield. He starts arguing with the coach. Coach, I can't play midfield. Well, if it hurts so bad you can't play midfield, then you shouldn't be on the field at all. And so I watched this little alpha male sequence start to roll out. And, of course, the coach won.
Sure.
Because that's what coaches do.
That's right.
But after the game, him and I had a conversation about it. He goes, Coach said if I can't play midfield, I can't play at all. And I'm like, okay, let's think about what the coach is saying, what he really said. He does not want to hurt you. You're too important to the team. If your leg is injured at that level, it's not going to make a difference in the outcome of the game, whether you're in the game or on the bench at this point. And, he saw that. Now, I could say that now. When I dislocated my knee as a senior in high school football, 2 weeks later we were playing our arch rival, and I went down to the doctor. I'm like, Doc, I gotta play. And I'm limping around the room, and the doctor walked out of the room.
17 and bulletproof.
And I gave the coach a note from the doctor that said, okay for Tim to play if knee properly wrapped. And so Coach wrapped the knee himself. And I did a great job of forging the doctor's signature on that note. I literally risked my ability to walk for the rest of my life on playing that one more game. Well,
so how are your knees now?
Now, since that day, I've never had surgery. I spent 21 years in the infantry and 45 years on soccer fields. And it's my left knee that needs replaced, not my right knee that was injured.
I just said, how are they now? I don't know. I'm just saying. Going to get some new wheels
there,
huh, Coach?
The knees need to be replaced.
That's it.
I talked
too much praying. That's it. Down on his knees, up, down. That Catholic calisthenics, they call that.
The Illinois Bone and Joint, I had a conversation with them on Friday. The left knee definitely. They're not 100% sure if they're going to replace the right knee now, not because they can't do it, not because they don't want to do it, because Medicare may not pay for it. So we're dealing with the insurance companies right now.
Welcome to America.
2 years from now, it'll be okay.
It's not what you need. It's what your insurance covers. So there you go. Thank you very much. Welcome to America. But that's the joy. I'm glad you're going through that process of learning. And has it helped you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is that wisdom though? You're in your 50s now. Is that wisdom?
47.
Close to 50, right? You're right. Right.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with wisdom, and then a lot of it just people you meet, and
Yeah.
you learn different things. Some people know what you're into, so they'll send something like, "Oh, this is pretty cool,"
Right.
not knowing what that's going to lead to, but it
Right.
turns out to be helpful. But a lot of it is just the connections and some of the people that I've come across, and starting to learn things from them. But yes, wisdom to say this person may have something that I don't know. I don't know everything, and I had a real bad case of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, the pride's a hard.
We call it expert syndrome.
Yeah,
pride's hard. Yeah,
and it is a tough thing. James, my grandson again, he's playing soccer, football, and running with the cross country team all in the same season, and he's one of the top athletes in all three of them. On 2 of his kickoffs on Friday night, he was the first one on the tackle at the receiving football player. So he's kicking off and beating the rest of the team down the field. Well, he says, I'm the best. So I've got his theme song all written out. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble.
And that's just what the kicker's supposed to be. They're supposed to be the safety valve.
Right.
But I tell my athletes all the time, I'm like, it's okay to play hurt, but it isn't okay to play injured.
That's right.
And with girls, I'm like, you don't understand this right now, but you're going to want to dance at your wedding. So missing a couple weekends, games while you're 15, that's okay.
Right.
It's not the end of the world. And I don't know too many 15-year-olds who get signed a 4-year full ride to a D1 school at 15. Very, very few, if any.
I don't think it's happening.
Yeah. So that with athletes though, and we've all been there, is that pride though. You roll right back into that pride and go, I can do this.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't feel that, but I can do this. One of my favorite people to follow and listen is Inky Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, here he is playing for the University of Tennessee and makes a tackle. They were winning. Here it is again. They were up. The game it wasn't even close. And there's a couple minutes left in this game, and he goes to make a tackle, and he paralyzes himself.
Yep.
And now it's just his right side, and his arm just hangs there now. And he's a wonderful motivational speaker. But that's your pride. He didn't have to hit that guy that hard,
right?
And at that he could have pushed him out of bounds.
Exactly.
But he came in to hit him because of his pride. I'll show you. I played to that last bell. He got a stinger, and they're like, "Dang, Inky, nice hit. Let's go." He's like, I can't
feel my arm."
What do you mean you can't? I can't feel my body. That's a scary thing. But that's our pride. Does that all the time?
Oh yeah,
all the time.
Is it our pride, or is it that we just don't know any other way?
I think it's your pride.
Yeah.
Instinctively, I think I mean, if you come up against a grizzly bear, you're like, my pride's packed at this point.
Right. Logically,
Right.
Emotionally, you don't. All decisions are made emotionally, justified logically, and when things are happening that quickly, and you're in the heat of the battle, I don't think it's pride. I think it's the only way you know how to do it. You don't know how to turn the switch. I played basketball.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You don't know how to turn that switch off. No. We're down by 13, no problem.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Win. Like, let's go. We're playing. I changed the rules to Candyland. So now it's Battle Candyland because I hated losing. It was boring. I was like, here's how we're going to do this. Like war. You guys know war with cards, right? I'm like, this is how we're going to do this. And if you land on a double of my color, we got to switch cards. And I made up all these crazy rules.
My 5-year-old grandson and I are now in the heated battles of Candyland. And I went right back to that story. And so the other day, if it's a double red, it's 5 push-ups. If it's, so we're like,
yeah, and so that and my wife, she'll hate playing games, family games and whatnot because I'm ruthless. That's all I know. That's it. We're playing for blood. I don't care what it is.
You may not have Park Place.
That's right. So I like that, and Uncle Pete always said he loved being in his 50s because he was having the time of his life.
I'm glad you brought that up. One of the reasons that we have all the licenses for all the music now is because Uncle Pete, his dream was to be a DJ, a music DJ.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, we don't need to play music. We'll just replay all of our shows. But today, if it's not a live show or a specifically planned replay, it's music. It's, you know,
and we're a non-genre, right? So you could get Flappers music to Garth Brooks to elephants playing whistles to, I mean, we play it all. Some of the new programming that's going to be coming up is, you know, we're going to have like 80s at 8. We're going to have we're going to do a lot of, you know, 90s, and we're really going to put it out there to be a very, very unique, you know, maybe Sundays will be top 40s, maybe Mondays will be the 50s, just all over the place, country, rock, folk, whatever, blues, jazz, because we don't want to be pinned down. But we're working right now here at DDOE on a new platform that we're going to be working with. And that new platform is going to be make us a little bit stronger, and we'll have more music, and that way you can listen to us all day long. It'll
Nice,
great. Yeah, and not get bored or hear the same song 16 times.
right? Like you do on.
Wow, it's brutal.
I don't even listen.
And now
never comes on.
And now even satellite radio is that way. So we drove out to Norfolk over the 4th of July to see my son, and we had just bought a new car, so we had the satellite, because satellite radio comes on when you buy a car for so many months or whatever. And so we're cruising out there, and we just listen to a station, and after so many hours in the car, they start playing the same rotation. I was like, you gotta be kidding.
And then it sounds live again. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
You mean the same news happened exactly the same way?
Right. Unbelievable. So we're excited about a lot of things that are going on
The
here.
one thing that all satellite radio is talking about today is it is two
bald guys and a microphone
day right here
All day.
216 the net.
All right, it is 7:30. We've gone for 90 minutes. I've got to get going because I've got things I got to do today, and I got to go keep score or run the clock. So I'm just click, 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 click. Yeah.
An important job, a simple job until you mess up.
Well,
Hey, stop the clock.
Well, here the best thing is in football. I don't have a horse in the race, so I'm not watching a player. So a lot of times parents go up there and they're watching their kid, and they're like, oh, you know. Yeah. So I literally sit there when I do, and I just watch the refs. Oh, go stop. Oh, incomplete pass. Stop.
Nice.
So they like me because I'm usually pretty good.
If I am coaching, I can keep a scoreboard. I mean, I keep the scorebook perfectly, right? But if I'm watching the game on the scorebook or I'm on the scoreboard, I'm not the guy you want there. No, it's wide open to the right. You got to know. And it's like, hey, stop the clock. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Shayna, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Great throwback session, guys. Yep. Come back next week. 2 bald guys on microphone going to have
JT Newton. JT is a stand-up comedian. He is running he's at the Rouse Center for the Arts now.
The Row and I think the Woodstock Theater.
Is he the one that introduced
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle for the first time?
Yeah.
David Chappell.
Dave Chappell. And the best is to hear Dave tell that story.
Yeah.
Absolutely a stitch. And one of the funniest guys, his timing is impeccable. He understands comedy. Laughter is the best medicine is what we're rolling with for September. And our good friend DeMont K. Ross, thanks for coming in, brother.
Thanks for having
on
me.
this National Bald Holiday. Thanks for being bald.
It is
You had to make it 2 bald.
That's right.
It is a different StreamYard link every show, so we'll send that to you every week. And when you want to join us, pop on. And when you're off school, I expect you to be here.
There you go.
Expect you.
Yeah.
All right. Good to see you, DeMond. Oh, that JT Newton. Yes. Come back. Strong week as always here, 21.6 the net, where you want to tune in to get your daily dose of encouragement. We can't thank you enough for getting stuck on the net with us this morning. As I always say, be good, but until we meet, be good to each other.
That's right. It's time to get off the bench and get back in the game. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve of this message.